So these training systems emphasize the approaches that you can take with your strength training, basically to maximize different adaptations for your body. You can play around with these systems. You can pick and choose which one is appropriate.
Hello and welcome to the Core Podcast. We're your hosts, Aline Keller
And Shannon Polson.
I'm a precision nutrition certified coach.
And I'm a NASM certified personal trainer for over 13 years. We support women 30 years old and over to pursue health through realistic nutrition and fitness strategies. Our main passion is to help you find that smile when you look in the mirror, find freedom when you eat, and joy when moving your body.
Make sure to subscribe for your weekly dose of doable health tips, practical advice, and so much more. It's the health education you wish you'd had. Welcome to today's episode of The Core, and we are finishing our training systems. This is part 3. If you haven't watched the beginning of the miniseries, episode 27 in season 2 is Training Systems 1. Episode 29 in season 2 is Training Systems part 2. And today Shannon is coming to us with part 3. So let's do it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for letting us know what episode numbers those are. That's definitely very helpful. All right. So yes, we are in part 3 of our 3-part series on resistant training systems. So again, this is a mini series that covers various structures of resistance training methods for a wide range of effects depending on your goals and your abilities. So these training systems emphasize the approaches that you can take with your strength training, basically to maximize different adaptations for your body. You can play around with these systems. You can pick and choose which one is appropriate, what fits your current activity level, your current stage of life, as well as your future goals. So again, definitely recommend dabbing into part 1 and 2 so you can remain in order before you move into today, which is part 3. And today we'll talk about the split routine system and then the vertical loading and the horizontal loading systems. So last episode, I chatted about drop sets, circuit training, and peripheral heart action. So make sure to take a peek at those before you move on to today. All right, so starting out with our split routine system. This is a pretty common way of training as it divvies up your body parts to be trained on separate days. So a lot of bodybuilders definitely dig into this type of training system. A lot of athletes, such as football player, shot put, runners, that type of thing, use the split routine system. Bodybuilders typically perform numerous exercises on the same day for the same body part to bring that optimal muscular hypertrophy into play. Basically, by breaking up the body into parts, it can be trained in different ways on different days, and it works more of that specific body part. So examples of several different split routines are, let's say we're focusing in on, we'll say Monday and Thursday, so 2 days. So Monday, you can focus on chest, shoulders, and triceps. And then on Thursday, you're focusing in on back, biceps, and legs. Okay, so let's say we're moving into Wednesday and Friday. You work on just legs on Wednesday, and then Friday you're working on backs and biceps again. So you kind of want to lay out your day. Let's say that you work out 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and then you have to pick those different body areas in which you want to be trained to be specific to your goals and again the adaptations that you're looking for. So if Monday you're working on chest, shoulders, and triceps, you could focus on 2 to 4 different exercises per each body part. So maybe the first set you're focusing in on chest, whether it's a superset type of style, or it's just like stabilization style where you're doing 12 reps at 2 sets per body part. So it's kind of fun with these training systems because if you listen to my other mini series about the different phases of training, all of these systems can play in with the different phases of training. So if I want to do a split routine system, but I want to focus on phase 1 stabilization, so again, 12 reps at 2 sets, you're kind of bringing in and combining the phases to the systems together. So there's so many dynamics and different variables when it comes to this, but really just keeping in mind of how fun it is to play around with these different types of training systems and to really program and design your exercises to be creative so you're not getting bored, so your body is learning and adapting as you train. All right, off with the side note. So we're back on to Wednesday. So, oops, sorry, we did Monday, which is chest, shoulders, and triceps. So Tuesday, let's say that we do back, biceps, and legs. So it's nice because Monday, if you're doing chest, shoulders, and triceps, Tuesday, you're doing back. It's kind of a good complement to what you did on Monday, but then you're working on your biceps and then your legs. And again, you can play around with this. Wednesday, we're back to legs, and that's really fun because you can focus on single leg exercises, double leg, lateral, medial. You can do ipsilateral, all kinds of different movements with legs. Thursday, back biceps. Friday can kind of be a play around day. So maybe you didn't get enough biceps in on Tuesday. Maybe you're really feeling the legs, or maybe you're working in on some cardio. So the split routine system, again, is just really just breaking up the body parts to be trained on separate days. All right, moving into vertical loading. So now vertical loading is alternating body parts trained from set to set. So you're starting from the upper extremities and then you're moving down to the lower extremities. So vertical loading is a great resistance training system used to, again, alternate body parts. And what that means is you can play around, you can have your list of exercises, and then you can play around with upper extremity and then lower extremity. So let's say that your first exercise is a total body exercise. So maybe it's a squat press. Okay, and then you're moving into upper body. So now you're working on your chest. So maybe you do a bench press. Then you're doing legs, front alternating lunges. Back to the upper body. So now you're back, a reverse fly, back to the legs. You're doing, now maybe you're doing a single leg squat. So notice how you start out with total body. It's like you're getting everything going, the most demanding exercises first, and then you're alternating between upper and lower extremity. It can be very, very beneficial for allowing maximal recovery to each body part while minimizing the amount of time wasted on rest. So if you go back to the different phases of training, you learned that rest is a huge component, a very, very big component to the intensity of your training. So stabilization phase, phase 1, you know, your recovery or your rest time between your exercises is medium. Anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds. Now, if you're moving into like your supersets, you have very minimal rest in between each exercise. It's actually exercises performed back to back. So again, you're just maximizing that intensity. The nice thing again with vertical loading is, okay, I just did my chest, I did my bench press, but now that I'm moving down to legs, I'm doing another squat. I'm giving my upper body that time to recover while I'm still continuing to move my body. So it's very lovely in a sense of you're keeping that heart rate increased and you're keeping the blood flow going, and the intensity is still going to be pretty high with the vertical loading. All right, so next would then be your horizontal loading, which is performing all sets of an exercise or body part before moving on to the next exercise or body part. So this refers to performing all sets of an exercise, basically, again, just before moving on. So for example, if you're performing 3 sets of a chest exercise and then 3 sets of a back exercise, you would perform all 3 sets of the chest exercise before moving on to the back exercise. So if you think of vertical loading, you look at a list, okay, you have your list of exercises, you go down the list. For horizontal, you have your list of exercises, but you're completing each exercise horizontally first before you vertically move down to the next exercise. So this is a very appropriate way of training for maximal strength and also power training. But you are required to take longer rest periods between the sets. Again, you're focusing on muscle hypertrophy, that muscle gain, that intensity, and the challenge level is definitely increased in that one body part. So recovery time can be limited to about 30 to 90 seconds between each set. If the same muscle groups are forced to work with minimal recovery, that can lead also to faster development of hypertrophy related adaptations. So the less recovery you take between each exercise and each set, again, the more adaptations you're going to receive in each muscle and each body part. All right, so pretty quick and easy on third episode of our training system. So again, we went through the split routine. A split routine involves breaking the body parts up into different parts to be trained on separate days. So again, Monday, chest, shoulders, tries. Tuesday, you're getting your legs. Wednesday, back, biceps, legs. Thursday, you're back to your legs. Friday, what else do you need? Maybe you need a cardio day. So you're splitting up your routine and different body parts throughout the week. Vertical loading is alternating body parts trained from set to set, starting from the upper extremity and then moving to the lower extremity. So you're going down the list. Horizontal loading is performing all sets of an exercise or body part before moving on to the next exercise or body part. So think of that list, but you're moving horizontally like you're reading a book. All right, so my recommendation is to go through all the different phases of training if you have not yet listened to that mini series, and then move on to the different systems of training to see which systems would accommodate the different phases of training, what works for your lifestyle, what works with the equipment that you have, with your goals, your abilities, and then also the love that you have for these exercises as well. If you're like, I would hate the split routine system, I'm going to try it. No, if it's something that doesn't fit with you and your goals and your likes, then move on to something else that is really going to accommodate your personality. Because again, there's so many different types of training systems out there to really program and design a exercise routine that fits you. Number one rule is to always remain safe with whatever you're doing. And then number two, remember that consistency is key. So as you navigate through all these phases and training systems, just make sure that you're remaining consistent. And if you ever have questions or you feel like you're stuck or you're kind of in a null, like you don't know what you should be doing, go back to a training system that works for you, that you are comfortable and knowledgeable in. So if you're somewhere out there in space, you're trying something new, and you just feel really, really confused, that's okay. Keep learning, educate yourself through a credible source, but know that you can always go back to a system that is comfortable for you until you can begin to progress back into something that's new for you. All right, so Eleni, questions? Have
No.
you any of these systems that we chatted about today, the split routine, vertical or horizontal?
So I usually, how I train is that I have a list,
Yeah.
right? There's a list and I do either 2 or 3 sets of each, resting in between sets, not in between exercises. But it's interesting when you talk about the rest periods and how your training changes your rest, because I will change it up if I'm pressed for time for some reason, which usually means that I needed like 20 extra minutes of sleep. So I didn't get up
Mhm.
as early. So I will sometimes do it almost in a more circuit like way where I
Mhm.
go through all the sets and I go through everything. But like you said, if you're training like a back or some sort of upper body movement, and then you immediately do a lower body, that would almost be the rest time for the upper, right? So I do tend to do that when I'm shorter on time,
Yep.
because yeah, I don't have to rest as much in between sets.
I love that you just mentioned it for the women out there that are having a hard time fitting their exercise sessions in. I mean, whether you had to sleep 20 more minutes or you needed to work for 20 more minutes and you have no idea where an exercise session can possibly fit within your day. A, it's possible, and B, you just have to do it, make that business meeting with yourself. But like you said, have it more of a circuit style, go between upper and lower extremity. You're getting that rest and recovery in. And yeah, I love that you mentioned that when you're short
Because
on
it
time.
really it really does go it really does go faster. And
Mhm.
usually for me, it has a lot to do with summer and the kids are home. So, I kind of have to shift some things around. So it's not as leisurely for me to work out in the morning as it usually is. But that's definitely something that because sometimes I feel like we get scared of making changes. At least for me, it took the longest time for me to get over the fact that tweaking something in my workout doesn't mean it's not going to work. For the longest
Right.
time, I felt like, okay, if this is how the workout was programmed, if I deviate anything, this isn't going to work. That's not how our body works, right? Like,
Right.
you're going to exercise, your body is going to respond. And even you've mentioned before in these things that there's a variety of exercises, so sure, you should try something new. But like you've mentioned, if this is something that that you don't like, or if for some reason that gives you pain, or it's really uncomfortable, or you can't balance, or whatever it is, you can make tweaks, right? So once I discovered that, I found a lot more freedom in my workouts, because you know I can just make certain tweaks either out of time or preference. Or like I'm almost recovered from some sort of shoulder injury that I don't know where I got it, but my shoulder wasn't doing well. So I made changes, but you can still train, you can still do it. It's just a matter of adapting. And for the people who are new at this, trainers are happy to listen to you, because what I've also found is that people are kind of scared of you people trainers, right?
Oh,
It's like,
100%. We're a
oh,
little
the trainer
intimidating
is
out
going to
there on
be
the floor.
like,
Oh, yeah.
because I think that there's sometimes the best coaches are, and I know that's something that you strive to be and that I strive to be, is the best coaches are the people that we try to find the balance between how much I have to push you and how much I have to listen to you, right? You come first as a client, as a person, because it's your life, it's your body. And a good fitness coach, sometimes you need a little push, like, no, I'm sure you can do this, no, I know that you're strong enough, I know you can do this. But sometimes it's like, okay, you hate this exercise, talk to your coach, they're going to change it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
good fitness coaches, they want you to work out more than they want you to do burpees. So
100%. Yes, you absolutely nailed it. 100%.
you like my example?
And
I hate burpees.
and it's true too. I mean, I can understand being intimidated by a trainer. He's wearing his polo with his biceps
Right.
popping out and he's on the floor with his notebook. It's intimidating.
Yeah.
But the good trainers, like they get such high satisfaction and such a high off of helping people to achieve, efficient movement and less pain within their body. Like, this is what we live for. And the trainers that don't get that and they're kind of just in it for maybe the stigma and the social media, like, no, those are the trainers that you should probably avoid. But overall, and maybe you go through a trainer or two before you find one that really resonates with you, and that's okay. It's kind of like finding a doctor that works for you, a dentist, a therapist, a massage, it's sometimes it takes a little shopping, but yes, ask questions, please do.
Yeah, well, I think that's the beauty of all these systems that you shared. It's that if nothing else, I hope that people get from this series that there isn't only one way to train. There isn't only one
Right.
way to do it. And even if you're listening and you're like, I don't know what to pick, I don't know how to program this, you don't have to know. It's not something that
Right.
you don't have to have this knowledge, but it's important for you to understand that there are lots of options, because if you're ever talking to a trainer that says this is the only way, this is the only solution, this is the only path, that's a big red flag, because there are many ways to achieve the goals that you have. So yeah, I love it. I love it that you bring all of this to the forefront.
Yes, 100%. And that's exactly why I wanted to do this mini series in particular, is just to put the face out there that there's so many different ways to train. And I have seen many, many gym goers come in and do the same routine every single time they come into the gym. And that's exactly what I want people to get away from. Is I know that you have your core exercises that you should always be doing, but really we just need to switch things up and move our body in different ways, not to get stuck in that same routine. So, yep, love
Absolutely. Well, that concludes our training systems mini series. Again, go back, listen to the first ones if you didn't. And next week, we're going to be talking about 10 things that I wish I knew before I lost the almost 30 pounds that I lost. So, yeah, tune in for that.